Hello, welcome to the People Profit Podcast, the show where we flip the script on traditional business thinking and prove that when you put people first, profits follow. I'm Sandra Coker, your guide on this journey to more engaged teams, loyal customers, and a healthier bottom line. These episodes are brought to you by Human Power Solutions, helping organizations unlock the human potential that powers performance. Whether you're a leader, an HR pro, or a curious change maker, buckle up. We're diving into fresh stories, real-world strategies, and a few laughs along the way. Ready to turn your workplace into a profit-powered people machine? Let's get started. Welcome to the People Profit Podcast, where we unpack the leadership strategies that build resilient teams and drive lasting success. I'm Sandra Coker, CEO of Human Power Solutions. And today we're diving into how vision, trust, and clarity can transform workplaces plagued by burnout and change fatigue into spaces of focus and energy. Our guest today, I'm excited, is, hope I don't butcher your last name, Sonja, is Sonja Zecevic.
Yes.
How's that? All right, nice. Okay. She is a certified financial freedom coach, which I love, and a founder and CEO of Empowered Mind Coaching. With her roots in war-torn Serbia and a successful climb in financial services from entry-level roles to branch manager and premier relationship manager, Sonja now guides high achievers from scarcity to security through one-on-one coaching, group programs, and transformative retreats in Mexico, which we're going to talk about too. She's based between Chicago and Playa del Carmen. I don't know, cold winters and really nice weather. Not sure why you're splitting your time, but we'll talk about that. She's a catalyst for professionals reclaiming purpose without sacrifice. Sonja, welcome. I'm so thrilled to explore your journey from the corporate ladder to freedom frameworks. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Such a pleasure to be here.
Such a pleasure to have you. So for those of you guys listening today, if Sonja's story sparks ideas for your own teams, please hit the like, follow, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Your engagement fuels more of these game-changing conversations. All right, Sonja, let's jump in. All right.
Thank you, Sandra. What a beautiful introduction.
Thank you. We try. So your story starts in war-torn Serbia. I mean, it's we've all heard about it. So you had to build resilience early on, and then you climbed the ladder from entry-level banking roles to managing teams to premier relationship manager. What key moment in that corporate journey showed you the real cost of success defined by sacrifice?
No, there were so many, but starting from my journey, I grew up in Serbia, former Yugoslavia, and I always felt like I will probably have to leave my country to build the life that I would love to have. And I always felt like I'm meant for more. So when I arrived to the United States in my early 20s, I really wanted that American dream, right?
Yeah.
Y'all, the whole world knows about it. We watched so many movies about it. And I was determined to succeed in the corporate America. I was determined to build a life that I always dreamed of. Yeah. And I did. And over time, over years, I did even more than I ever wished for, even more than I could dream about. But there was the moment where I felt like it's just I got to everything I ever wanted, but I feel so empty on the outside. And my life looks so good on the outside, and everybody's like, oh, you're this and that. But I just felt so empty, and I couldn't get rid of that feeling. And I think this is what many successful people in corporate America experience nowadays. Because
talk about that, though, the emptiness. What is that? What do you mean by that? For younger leaders that are just kind of coming out and they're climbing and they're moving and grooving and they're reaching for that brass ring. And you're saying you got and more. Yes. And still it was talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, because we have all this, at least in my personal journey, I had all these big goals, right? All these big milestones that I wanted to hit. And I never thought about, first of all, how important is for me to take care of myself along the way, how important it is to be in a healthy corporate culture as well. Like none of these things really matter to me. And banking, I used to be in financial services for almost a decade before I transitioned into my entrepreneurial journey and my coaching business. But I never didn't even cross my mind of how that's supposed to look like back then, because I had all these big goals in mind, right?
Yeah.
And that was priority. But the thing is, we cannot just hustle and run and push ourselves without really feeling good and safe in our workplaces. And that safety doesn't necessarily only comes from our employer and everything. It's also safety we create ourselves. How much of us we can bring to work, how much of us we can bring to our clients, and all of it. There's so many different segments. But my 20-something-year-old self didn't even think about this until I got to the point of the burnout.
It's so fascinating. I've got two 20-somethings who are climbing. They're growing, they're moving, they're grooving, they're doing great. And I'm a serial entrepreneur. So they've watched me, work. They're like, Mom, we don't want your life. You work so much. But the fulfillment for me is everything, right? I did corporate. I did all of that. And what do you think? Is there value in doing that corporate thing prior to stepping out on your own?
Absolutely. I think it's very important part of that process. And for some people, but I feel like very small percentage could jump straight on their entrepreneurial journey, and they did amazing. But there's such a small percentage of people.
Yeah.
I feel like majority of the young professionals, they need to go through that process and work in a corporate America and be employees. And there is so much we can learn in those spaces. So much experience, and we'll really learn no matter what industry you're at. It's just there is so much to learn. I think what makes a huge difference is how we treat the time we spend there. And some people, they don't ever decide to be entrepreneurs, and that's perfectly fine. Some people retire in corporate America, and that's great. But as long as it's done in a healthy way that serve us as humans and as individuals as well. But how we use the time there, it's way more important than how much time we're going to spend there.
I love that. I really do love. It's the quality of the time. It's what you invest. It's how much you learn. It's the mentors that you get. All of those things. It's awesome. So that's powerful. Really, I love that. So 4 years ago, you left a thriving financial services career to find, to be the founder of Empowered Mind Coaching. How did leading banking teams through constant change, right, teach you that leadership isn't about pushing harder, but aligning strengths with purpose? Because that's kind of where your Empowered Mind Coaching kind of comes in.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it was definitely inspired by my personal experience, because I feel like I paid the price. I paid the price for not being more mindful of that earlier in my career. And I know that that's not the path that everyone needs to be on. And things can be done in a healthier way, in a better way. I grew up thinking that I don't deserve to have certain amount of wealth and certain abundance in life if I don't work really hard for it, if I don't make so many sacrifices for it.
Yeah.
And I had to go through that whole journey and to get to the other side where I have everything I want, but I earned it through a lot of work, a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice. And then understanding it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way. This is just a mental construct I had for myself, and I acted accordingly. And I made my corporate journey so much harder than it had to be because of it. And that's why I love working with clients on this, helping them understand that they can have a little bit easier path.
That's great. I recorded another episode with another guest last week, and we were talking about how your journey doesn't need to be chaotic. Like you don't have to thrive in chaos. You know that chaos is kind of in your mind, and so there's that clarity that you need to have. And in your leadership philosophy, vision gives the meaning, trust gives the energy, and clarity gives the speed. I like that antidote feels like that is where every single workplace needs to, like, let me take that medicine and follow that. How does this framework address common pitfalls like change fatigue, talent burnout, and disengagement?
Yeah, I think what many people struggle with today is like we go to workplaces and we are constantly in survival mode
Yeah.
because a lot of things are happening, right? So they're always like in many, no matter who is the president, no matter what's going on with the world economy or economy of the United States,
Yeah.
we're gonna go through some hardships. Like an economy will never be as stable as we would like to be. And
Yeah.
and the moment when you are in the workplace and people are talking about layoffs all the time, and when it's so clear that you can be replaced in a heartbeat, it's very, very hard to go to work and bring your full self with it when you feel like you might be gone anytime and nobody cares.
Right.
And switching back and as much as like these things should be addressed in a way better way on a higher level, but even for us, even when you look at like in the middle level management, there is so much we can do for our employees to make this easier for them, to make them feel more safe at work, to make them feel like they matter because they do matter.
That's psychological safety. Yeah.
Yes, they
Huge.
do matter. And without them, yes, nothing works. And so many, like we see layoffs all the time, for example. And yes, people can be replaced, but realistically, how much it costs companies every time when they do it, it costs them so much more in the long run. But nobody's thinking how something will be affected in the long run. Everybody's thinking, oh, what can I do for my shareholders this year?
Yeah. Yeah. What's fascinating to me is we talk about, so our company and our book, right, is all about employees, right? The employees they are your engine. They're actually who drive your company. And most of the time, layoffs come from the management level. So why are we focused on the managers all the time? Right? Why aren't we working with our front line? So I just, love what you just said, because it's just really resonating. Can we just come back a little bit? Can we break down your philosophy? So can we talk about like, how does vision give meaning to employees?
Yes, absolutely. And I love what you just mentioned, because employees, they are heart of our organization.
Yeah.
And when it's very clear for every single person on the team what's the vision of the company, and this is something we work with together, like when they can truly feel it, not just because, oh, it's listed on a mission or vision statement of the company on the website. When we go back to it and really talk about what does that mean? What does that mean for the company? What does that mean for us as employees, for example? And how we can contribute to it? And what's the reward? Of course, outside of financial rewards, I mean, we all go to work to make money, but also what's more there for us? What can bring us, how we can merge and really find our own purpose and vision in what we do, and why it can be exciting to go to work every day and contribute. Because we as humans, we always want to work towards something so much bigger than us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in life, that's what we want to do. So let's take the second one then. How does trust give energy?
Yeah, so going back to emotional safety, we need to feel safe at work. First of all, that we can bring fully ourselves, that we don't have to perform, that we don't have to be somebody else that we are not. Of course, as long as it's professional.
Yeah.
But also to know that our managers have our back.
Yes.
That something very special. I remember when I first became branch manager, everything clicked for me once when I learned that people will do so much more and they will show up so much more at work when they actually feel you have their back. And no matter what happens, even when the things go bad, when they know you are there for them, you're not there, of course, you keep them accountable, but you're also there to help them navigate through mistake or hardship or whatever happened. When they know it's just something so special happens when they're going to truly do their best.
Yeah.
Because they want to not only help out, in a way, they want to make you happy as well.
Yeah. I love
No.
when I was running restaurants, I would, and I was anytime I'm working with new managers, it's like, congratulations, you got promoted. Now nothing is about you anymore. It's all about your people, right?
Yes.
It's just taking your ego and if you and I can say anything to these young leaders, like the title means zero. It's
Absolutely.
it's how you make your people feel, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So talk a little bit. Last one is, how does clarity give speed? What does that
Yes.
mean?
Every single person on the team, they need to know where we're going as a team, as a company. If they don't know, how possibly they can bring their best selves to work?
Yeah.
How possibly they can perform well? Nobody thrives at the lack of direction. And
Right.
especially today, it can be very confusing, especially working in the big companies, because there is something, oh, now we focus on this, and there is another meeting where, oh, we are changing, we are going into this direction. And people get so confused. And of course, that creates disengagement, that creates a lack of purpose. We have to go back to it and are we clear here? Where are we going? What are we working? What are we working on? What is the priority for us right now? And if there is some discrepancy there, and if there is lack of clarity, like what needs to happen and what conversations need to take place for all of us to be on the same page and be able to work together towards the shared goal.
Love it. Can you share a story from leading some new teams when you applied this philosophy and how maybe it turned poor collaboration and overload to boost engagement? Do you have? I'm putting on the spot with a story right now.
No, it's great, because honestly, I had such a great experience throughout my banking career, because when I became a branch manager, I started working for the brand new division of the company. And at the time, they didn't have any physical presence in Chicago. So we were creating pretty much a brand new team. And I was, I think, the third employee in Chicago team. So I was there and it was such an exciting moment, because in banking, usually nobody gets to do this. You're already in existing team, or maybe existing branch, or even if it's new branch, you are in existing market.
Yeah.
So to be able to be part of something brand new, which means we need to hire the whole team. We need to hire the whole team for all branches and train them and all of it. And it was such an incredible experience.
Wow.
And also, a big part of what we did at the time was expanding the brand awareness, because it was a different and new division of the existing bank. So it was and then we hired mostly employees who were already in banking, but who used to work for more traditional bank. And I also used to work for JP Morgan Chase prior to that.
Yeah. Right.
So it was like, okay, now we need to get to the point where we get to do things very differently, where it's not anymore so much about individual performance. There is partially, but now we have team goals. We have big team goals. And it's not anymore about, oh, this person is performing this way, this person is performing. We have to find and put everybody together and as different pieces of puzzle and really help them understand that. And for some of them, it was a little bit hard, because they just used to a little bit different environments.
Right.
A little bit different environment, a little bit different, more competitive when it's one person for themselves.
Sure.
So really navigating through that and creating different projects where they get to collaborate and where they get to help each other, where they get to go and work in different locations as well.
Yeah. So really focusing on that new team, giving them vision, showing them that they can trust you, and then the clarity of this is where we're heading, and off you go.
And one more element, which was very different than what are we used to in banking. Really give them autonomy to bring up certain things and projects. Usually, banking is such a restrictive, in a way, field where there is not too much space for creativity. There is not too much space for individual contributor to try to do things their way, because of course, all the rules and regulations. There is a reason for it. But if there is, because of us, because we got to also focus on the brand awareness and community involvement, for them to be able to search for organizations, communities that they feel strong about, where they feel passionate about, where they feel they can make a difference, and letting them lead those kind of projects and be like, okay, they're in charge of this specific thing. They're in charge, they have our autonomy, and it created such an amazing results.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like incredible results.
And for the community itself, I mean, all these nonprofits or whoever it is that you're working with, it makes a huge difference, there too. So that personal feeling of satisfaction or joy, right? I think it's important.
Running a business is hard. Developing your people shouldn't be. At Human Power Solutions, we act as your outsourced chief learning officer, designing custom learning and development experiences that actually move the needle. No fluff, no cookie cutter workshops, just results. Whether your people need better communication, stronger leadership, or less burnout, we provide strategic solutions that align with your goals and keep your team moving forward. Visit hpowersolutions.com and unlock your team's full potential without disrupting operations.
So talk a little bit about, you talk about emotional intelligence, right? So as you're kind of leading teams, you're bringing people together, the emotional intelligence helps to create some of that safety and that, and that high standard that you're kind of bringing in. How do you weave EI or EQ into decision making, especially in those high pressure environments where, teams tend to, I think when it's high pressure, they tend to go into themselves and think about how can I protect myself?
Yes. Yeah, because this is what naturally happens. In those moments, we go into survival mode. Yeah. But I think it makes a huge difference when people in your team, when they feel safe to come to you as they're going through things. Maybe this is a little bit non-traditional way of thinking, but I really think it's important for leaders to treat their employees as family members. Which means also understanding when they are having good time, good phase or bad phase in their lives, knowing when somebody's mom is sick, understanding when somebody, and really trying to balance it out where when people are going through something, where they have enough space to still show up for the clients and take care of the business, but also to know, I see you, I see what are you going through. Yeah. And there are certain expectations, but also you are a human. And I know today it's hard for you, or this week it's really hard for you. So we're going to make sure the rest of us, me as a manager, me as a leader, and the rest of us on the team, we're going to try to make things a little bit easier for you. Yeah. And another time it's going to be somebody else, and that's somebody else. And when you do this for them, when it's a crunch time and where it's a high pressure, they're going to show up. They're going to do their best. Yeah. Because they're going to remember. They're going to remember every single time when they couldn't be on their best that you didn't punish them for it.
Right.
There is space for them in those situations.
And I think it's important for support, not to save people, but to be supportive during these times. And, you hear it, I'm a Gen Xer. So, there are times when the typical Gen Xer is I don't really care what's going on in your life. That's an attitude that's there. So with the new generation or the next generation coming up, millennials are about to take over the C-suite. They're about to kind of, move our gen out of the way. Do you think it's going to change as people as a generation start to age out and come up? What do you think?
Yes, I think it's changing tremendously. Because it's just back in the days when I just think about my parents' generation, for example. Yeah. My parents' generation, this generation already retired, but they had very different ideas of what work should bring to them. It was you go to work, you find stability, you work for the same company as possible for many years, or something similar. You make money and you focus on your life outside of work. And
Yeah.
today we want more fulfillment. We want to feel good at work. We want to find more meaning in our work. And I think this newer generations, they want to be happy at work. They don't want to go to work just for a paycheck, and go home and call it a day. No. They want to feel seen, they want to feel respected, they want to bring their full selves there. And if they don't, they leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they might stay a little bit longer out of scarcity based on what's going on in their lives, but they won't stay as long as you would want them if they don't feel good about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, if they're not tied to a purpose and if the vision doesn't give them, some meaning, right? To go back to the first framework piece. So, now you're a solo entrepreneur. You've been you left your job, right? You're hiring contractors. So they're not working for you, right? How does that same philosophy of having employees go to now this flexible remote work, right? How does it foster trust without this constant oversight that you need to have?
Yes, I have to say it's a little bit harder because I now am working with contractors versus having my team. I personally enjoy working with the bigger teams and creating that, just like working with people for years. I think it's amazing. It's so special and I miss it.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm grateful for flexibility that I have today.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that
you're in Mexico right now.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yes, like literally today, the today before, a couple of hours before we started recording, I went for a swim because now I live 5 minutes walk from the beach and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
I'm so jealous because it's so cold here right now.
Yes, I feel you. I lived in Chicago like full time for 11 years before I started going back and forth. And yes, it's tough. But also, I have to say, the city life also comes with other advantages.
Yeah.
But today, and from my own personal experience, and also with many, especially the younger generations, many of them, they look for remote jobs. So they can travel more and enjoy their personal lives and have different types of experiences while building their careers. So flexibility became a key.
Yeah. So sorry about that. So like, how do you with a smaller team, and I'm sure like I've got a pretty small team, most are remote as well. What are the things that you do to kind of keep connected to them and make sure that things are getting done?
Yes. Making sure keeping everybody accountable and making sure they have that personal responsibility when it comes to these things, but also trying, even we are remote, even we are not working full time together, but really being able to again, create that family environment.
Yeah.
And get to know each other a little bit more on a personal level. Of course, it's nicer when we get to see each other in person, but even when we don't, and in this case we don't, it's just nice to be able to create more meaning and create. I really believe that meaningful relationships in the workplaces, also not only in our personal lives, make a huge difference for the teams. Yeah. And I feel like this is possible to create no matter if teams are remote or not. It's easier done in person, but even remotely, it's still possible.
Yeah, I agree. We have a great group of people that work with us, and they're all over the world. It's fun, we all get together. And but I want to talk a little bit about your work because I think your work is so important. So you help clients like reprogram limiting beliefs for financial freedom. So a lot of people live in that lack mindset. I don't have, I'm never going to have, or it's too late, right? How do you help with that with people?
Yes, there are a few different elements, but it's where I really like to start with them is working on reprogramming money beliefs and money habits. Yeah. And all of us, we became adults usually we inherit the money beliefs that our parents had or whatever we witnessed growing up. And many of them don't serve us at all. So we really need to, and many times we don't even realize how much they are impacting our lives.
Yeah.
And many of us also, there are many successful people in the United States who hate their lives.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they hate their lives because there are two things that I encounter a lot with my clients.
Mhm.
They are all high income earners. They're very smart. They're successful. But even they're smart and successful and have high income, either they overspend and they don't build any wealth. Even high income doesn't necessarily translate to the wealth. It takes completely different mindset and a skill set to be able to do that. So many people, they still live paycheck to paycheck and have high amount of that, even they have high income. So this is very common one. This is the most common in the United States. And I don't know if you ever looked at statistics. It's incredible. Like in US, like more than 70% of people live paycheck to paycheck.
Wow. I did not know that. That's great.
Yes. Numbers are just unbelievable. And this is not because of lack of resources. It's really mindset, habits, beliefs that come with that that need to be changed. And also, I have to say, a lack of financial literacy, because it's this is very unique market where very young people have exposure to financial products, like literally the moment they graduate high school.
Yeah.
But nobody teaches them how to use them properly. And this is one of the big reasons this happens. On the other end, some clients I have, they're good savers, they're successful, they're good savers, but they don't ever get to enjoy their lives. And even they accumulate out of scarcity, or they're good savers, they are paralyzed when it comes to investing. They know they need to do something. They know they want to create wealth, but they don't know where to start, and they keep postponing. They're too busy with other things, and they don't get to build wealth or grow wealth for this reason, or they don't get to enjoy the life along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting, because I think, going back to leadership and going back to, as a younger leader or as middle manager, that those limiting beliefs kind of limit you too in your growth in your career as well. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Because I think that's just an important piece for people to really understand. When we think about, reprogramming limiting beliefs, right? So if you take that limiting belief, how does, if you can get yourself reprogrammed out of those limiting beliefs, how does that translate to organizational levels? How does it improve retention? How does it improve performance as a leader? If you can reprogram those limiting beliefs and get out of there, how does that help?
It helps in every single possible way, because we get to truly try. First of all, we get to be truly ourselves and do our best. We thrive in so many ways, because the biggest obstacle we ever have is really learning how to get out of our own way. And when we do that, when we see, okay, this is what's blocking me, it's internal, I need to work on this, I need to find a way to put this aside and be able to show up fully. And when that happens, we are not self-sabotaging anymore. We are not self-sabotaging our success at work. We are not self-sabotaging our finances. We expand our nervous system in a way that they can hold more responsibilities, that they can hold more wealth, that they can hold more abundance. Because when it doesn't, we're going to always default to scarcity, to lack of resources, because this is where we are more comfortable. This is what we learned. And this is just reality of so many people.
Yeah. And so that really helps if you're open like that, then that helps, your performance, which then allows other people to gravitate towards you and to want to work with you. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And even, yes, many times this creates competition as well. But I feel like high performers create more fire in others around them and more motivation for their peers than they do create jealousy. And
love it. Love it. So for the leaders who are listening right now, what's one step to start building this, in their teams that they might, implement in a meeting or a feedback session? Like, what's something that a leader could do to start building either psychological safety or reprogramming limiting beliefs. Any tip you want to give?
Yeah, so I would say number one, like treat your employees as humans, treat them as family. Like that's emotional, psychological safety is everything. Nothing can be done without that. And even if something gets done, it's not sustainable. So number one, treat them with not only respect in a professional way, but see them as humans first and employees second.
That's awesome. It's awesome.
Number two, I would say really like, I mean, we have to learn for each team member. We have to learn what's really what keeps them up at night, what brings the most fire in them, and that to motivate them on daily basis and find a task and projects where they can really show up as their best.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's so key, isn't it? Like making sure that people are working in their right zone of genius.
Yes.
You know. Yeah, for sure.
It brings so much and believe in them. Like be their biggest cheerleader. Like keep them accountable also. Keep standards high. This is not about asking little from them. I think people thrive the most when we ask a lot from them while they're feeling supported. And most importantly, I think number one rule for leadership. We have to be and show up and do so much more than what we ask for from our teams. Yeah. Like we are role models. They will do, if we don't really walk our talk, we cannot expect anyone to do anything.
True.
But when we do and we do it consistently, magic happens.
People step up. They really do. If they feel like they're supported and they feel honored that you've asked them to do something, right? Yeah. All right. So we have a segment where it's rapid fire. Okay. So
I'm
they're
excited.
just quick. They're quick. So don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. So what is one outdated leadership habit to drop forever?
Oh my God. Like acting like in order to be a leader, you have to be untouchable.
Ooh, love that. Okay, great. Yeah. What's the toughest change you've navigated?
In life or in general, in a corporate
you
environment?
Pick it. You pick it.
I'm gonna use in life. It's really, really shifting my identity. And as someone coming from a country that has so many socioeconomical problems and moving to US on my own in my early 20s, I had to become a completely different person to reach a level of success I wanted to reach. And that was this is my biggest accomplishment in life to this day.
Well, you're amazing. So this has been a great conversation. So
thank you, Sandra.
Congratulations. You too. What's a daily ritual for building trust in teams?
The moment you walk into the meeting, into your workplace, or if you're in a virtual space, the moment you get to connect with them.
Love it.
Connect with them as human first.
Yep.
Before you get to ask them for what's going on, how far they get on this project, where things connect on a human level first.
I agree completely. If every leader mastered one element of your philosophy, which one would it be?
I think this is it, like really creating this psychological safety.
Psychological safety.
Yeah, this is foundation and the first step and the most important. And people know when you're faking it.
Yeah.
It cannot be faked. And it's faked often in today's world. It cannot be faked. It has to be genuine.
Yeah, for sure. You hold retreats. So who would a dream guest be that could help people, your other guests, explore freedom further? So basically like a guest, but kind of like a co-facilitator for you. Who would that be?
Oh my God, there's so many. I mean, I wish, this is very ambitious goal, but I wish I can bring with me Dr. Joe Dispenza. That would be the most incredible experience. And he's hosting retreats in Mexico. I went to 2 since I came here, and it's absolutely incredible. But I feel there is a lot of his work that's so meaningful and that can transform so many things in a corporate environment and make a difference for people.
You just put it out there, Sonja. You never know. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Just lastly, to kind of wrap up a little bit, what's one sentence that a leadership shift you hope listeners make today?
Sure. Understanding that there is a better, healthier, and more fulfilling way to run businesses, to interact with your employees, or simply to go and show up at work every day. Then it doesn't have to feel horrible, then it can feel actually good. And that workplaces can also be a space for us where, because we spend so much big chunk of our lives there, really, that we can actually enjoy that.
Well, that's great. That is great. Well, thank you so much. It was so empowering. Thank you for sharing your resilient, purpose-driven approach. It's just amazing. That's a wrap for another episode of the People Profit Podcast. If Sonja's framework of vision, trust, and clarity gave you some tools to combat burnout, please like, follow, share, and subscribe. Tag a leader who you know is ready for clarity. Sonja, can you tell our audience the best way to connect with you and explore your work? And of course, we're going to add all the links. So.
Yeah, of course. And thank you so much, Sandra, for having me as a guest on your podcast. You're an amazing interviewer. And it's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to be here in front of your audience. And please feel free to reach out to me. Either you can connect with me through my website, which is empoweredmindcoaching.com, or reach out on Instagram. It's empowered_mind, 2 underscores.
Yep.
LinkedIn. My name, you're going to include everything.
We'll get everything.
But feel free to reach out, ask any questions. If there is a story you would like to share, or if you're having any questions about your journey that you're at right now, going through transition or figuring out your next step in your journey to financial freedom, I would love to hear it. And it was such a pleasure to be here today, Sandra.
I really appreciate it so much. So step into freedom today. Sonja, thank you so much. Leaders, remember, true profit starts with empowered minds. So keep leading with purpose. I'm Sandra Coker. See you next time. Thanks so much, everybody. That's a wrap on this episode of the People Profit Podcast. If you found a nugget of wisdom or even just a spark of inspiration, share the love, subscribe, leave us a review, and pass the episode along to a colleague who's ready to build a people-first culture. Big thanks to our sponsor, Human Power Solutions, for championing workplace where humans thrive and profits rise. Want to learn how they can energize your team? Head over to hpowersolutions.com to get started. I'm Sandra Coker, reminding you that when you invest in people, you invest in profit. See you next time.